Working on a weekend like usual. Way off in the deep end like usual. Niggas swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes.
Welcome to From the 7 podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we always bring a different perspective to the mindsets for the real world. As always, I'm your boy Deuce. I actually don't have my right-hand man Stat here with me today. He actually hit the lottery here in Mexico, but he'll be back soon. But I do have a special guest in the house with me today. Good brother. Here to talk about mental health, entrepreneurship, struggles of the jersey coming off his back, and also how he utilizes social media to maintain a very successful business that he has. Before I introduce my special guest today, quick announcements. Make sure y'all follow From the 7 podcast on Instagram at From the 7 podcast. You can follow me at _Deuce West. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment, share with a friend. From the 7 podcast, Stat TV on YouTube. Special guest tags will be below. Don't want to give them away yet. And make sure y'all follow Deuce Brand as well. So I did something special with Deuce Brand a couple weeks ago. Did a giveaway. Make sure y'all follow their page. Great company. Get your underdog swag up, man. Good business, but don't want to bore y'all with that too much, man. I got a special guest in the house with me. Good brother, man. My man Rob, man. Welcome to the 7.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you coming, man. Funny story how we met. Shout out Jason, good friend of ours. Mount TV was in Rob's home. Beautiful home, by the way. Every guest I have on here that I actually helped with Jason, they all had crazy cribs. Like you, Ant, my boy Ant had a crazy crib too, but beautiful crib. We in his crib. We just chalking it up. Yeah, and I told him about my podcast. He said he'll love to join. And now he's here. Bless us with his time, man. So let the people know who you are, man, what you do. Quick little backstory on yourself.
Yeah, man. Rob from Philly. So you know I gotta rep that all day. But yeah, from Philly, man. Moved to Charlotte about maybe seven years ago now. I've been here for a little while now.
Yeah.
I must like it a lot. Yeah, a little bit of background on me, man. Played ball pretty much most of my life, man. Started kind of late, but you know, I got a love for the game around like 7 or 8. Started taking it real serious, you know. So that kind of took off for me when I really put my heart and time into it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
So you know how it is when you fall in love with a sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, whatever. Basketball just happened to be mine.
Yep.
So yeah, man. So that's a little bit of background on me. You know, on the art side of things, you know, between basketball, I don't know. I really had a crazy like thing when it came to art and like drawing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I think that's what brought me to how my business started.
Okay.
So outside of basketball, art was always my thing too.
Now, which came first? Not to cut you off, as far as art or basketball for you?
Honestly, the art.
Nice.
And it's crazy how the basketball and art, to me, kind of really synced for real. Like, I felt like there was one at one point because it was always basketball or it was art. It was one of the two.
Yep.
Whatever one took off first, that's what I was going to run with. Obviously, it was basketball because it traveled a little bit faster at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't see no long-term stuff in art when it came to, like, running a business or making money from art at that. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, basketball took it on. I think it was more of a community thing because you start, you know, making friends at that type of age and getting into summer leagues and stuff like that. Your parents coming to the game, so it was more exciting. But at the end of the day, art still was my thing.
That's tough. That's tough because I think having a second passion or a passion that's as strong as your first choice as a child is difficult.
No, facts. I think that's big too. And I think that's what a lot of people be struggling with too, because you love something, but you good at something else, so you don't really know how to juggle it.
Yep.
You like, I love hooping or I love football, but I really got a passion for public speaking or motivational speaking, so you kind of put something on the back burner, but I feel like you can sometimes balance it, you know what I mean? So for me, it was that. I tried to balance them as best as I could.
And really, I think it's more unique because it's not another sport. Right, like usually it's like you juggling between you know, right. and then you do have athletes who make it professionally in one sport, but they was just as good in the other sport.
Right.
So for you to have something that was tagged that wasn't sports related, it's cool because not a lot of athletes can say that they have that other side of them, which is dope. So when did you what age did you decide that you knew you was gonna take basketball more serious?
Honestly, I think it was it might have been like 9th grade. So I went to a junior high right near where my neighborhood was, Penwood. It's probably changed now, but at the time it's called Penwood East. So I was there 8th grade. Usually go to Penwood High after going into 9th grade, right? So you transition from 8th to 9th. It's a different school. So we had an 8th grade all-star game. It was a local game for all the junior highs or whatever for local talent. So a lot of the big high schools come down and they recruit people at a young age so they can choose whatever high school they want to go to. But normally you go straight to Penwood High School because that's just the normal. You live in the area, you go to the next high school. So
that's your district, basically.
That's your district, right? So it's crazy to think about it because to me, I was like, I know it's more than just this one high school that I'm supposed to go to. So, you know, after the All-Star game, I got approached by one of the coaches at the high school I ended up choosing later on. It was an all-boys academy. And honestly, I went home, told my mom right about it. Once the coach hit me, I was like, listen, this school said they offering this, X, Y, Z. The next 4 years, they'll help pay for, you know, tuition, whatever.
That's tough.
It was an all-boys academy, too. So for me, it was like the school is good. The school is cool. But I was like, I'm transitioning from all boys and girls to just boys all day. Just
dudes, yeah.
So she looking at me like, you really want to go to an all-boys school? I'm like, I just know it's something better than where I'm supposed to be going. You know what I mean?
That's tough.
So I was like, you know, I'll do 1 year. If I don't like it, I can always come back to my neighborhood. So, so after that, coach approached me. We sat down, talked to my parents at that time. And my mom was like, well, if this what you want to do, then I'm going to support him 100%. So next thing you know, I'm on a tour for a shadow day. And shout out to my man, Jeff Jones. He played at Virginia.
Okay.
So where you from? He played at Virginia. He was a Cavalier for, I think, his first 2 years.
Tough.
And he ended up playing overseas a little bit too. So he was one of my good friends. So he actually shadowed me for my first day. And he might have been maybe top 20 in the country at that time. So you already know he sold me to school already, like what he liked, everything he liked about it. And I tend to like the same thing. So, you know, I went home after that shadow day, and that was my decision to go ahead to the high school. And I started taking it serious because I felt like after that, it wasn't more just like I loved to play basketball, but it was also more of a responsibility at this time because now they're paying for school. So you can't go there and not play. Yeah. Like, that's what you're there for. Obviously, to get good grades too, but, you know, they paying your tuition, so you got to go there and put in some work.
It's crazy how up north calls it junior high.
I know what y'all call it.
Middle school.
Sometimes we call it middle school, but I think most of us call it junior high because that's how it be labeled.
But that's like tough though because again, being from Virginia, man, it's like it's weird because we, especially as kids, we watched what up north kids did, and the way that y'all spoke, dressed.
Oh yeah, lingo's definitely different.
Lingo different. Swag different. So like,
lingo's different.
When we heard junior high, like if we said it in Virginia, people looking at us like, what? Because like it was just strictly middle school. But that's tough though that you was able to really articulate what was kind of gonna be better for you at that age. Because you was what, 14?
Maybe 13 at the time.
13 at the time?
I was actually a young 8th grade or going to 9th grade. I was actually younger than all my classmates.
That's what I'm saying. So like you already having that mindset already put you ahead of your class because I had to make a decision like that my junior year in high school. As a freshman, I couldn't have made that decision. As coming out of 8th grade as a middle school, I wouldn't have made that decision.
So it's funny that you say that now because like when I look back on it now, I'm like, yo, I was really 13. I was making maybe a 21-year-old decision because it caused a lot of friction though, man. I know it's funny because I had a girlfriend at that time in that junior high too. So when I went to high school, I wasn't trying to be on I'm better than everybody, but it was one of those things like I kind of got to shift something. And I had to leave some stuff behind it that to me felt like dead weight. Because it felt like if I was going to the high school I was supposed to go to, it was some stuff I was going to be in that I shouldn't have been a part of. Yeah. My outcome could have been different going into 11th or 12th grade, and things would have been different. And it did too. So now I look at it, I'm like, probably the best decision I made at that age to go to that academy for 4 years. And we did have girls, by the way, so I don't want to think it was boys all day.
Okay.
We just had separate buildings. So you seen girls in the morning, middle classes, and after school, but your classes were strictly male if it's English or major classes.
So we had 33 people in our high school when I went to private school my junior year.
Right.
8 was girls.
Okay.
So I understand what you mean. Like you'll be in the class and you'll probably see 1 or 2 max.
Yeah, it's not a lot of them.
Man, and seeing that few of women mentally can make you feel like over time seeing them for 7 to 9 weeks every day, this same woman, because if you go to a big like public school,
right,
you may run into some people, of course, more than once or twice because you have lunch or something like that. But if y'all don't have class together, you may not see this person.
You might not ever see them.
These people at my private school, I saw them every day. So it's like I knew everything that was going on in their life and everything. So that's crazy, man, to have that perspective. But that school led you, because you went to college after that. So speak on that.
So my college journey is actually really unique because it kind of went downhill for me in high school, low key, because I would say I was a late bloomer, right? So
okay.
9th grade, I didn't even play my 9th grade season. So I know you was asking me earlier, when did I take it seriously? I think that's when I really turned it up, because 9th grade, I didn't get to play my whole freshman year. So to me, I was like, they're not going to keep helping me pay for school if I can't play.
Yeah.
And it was a different type of things. I was still trying to adjust to a new school.
Yep.
My grades were pretty good, but they was on the cuff where I couldn't play. Maybe I could play, you know what I mean? So, and then me coming from a public school, it's like night and day. Besides just wearing uniforms, you get demerits. I'm like, what's the demerit?
Yep.
Why you gonna sign me up for not having a belt?
Like,
I might not even have a belt.
Man, if your top button was undone, you get a demerit, bro.
Yo, just bringing back the memories, man. That might give me PTSD. I'm like, how you gonna write me up for having, like, we couldn't even have sneakers on in my high school. You had to wear dress shoes.
I think we could have wore sneakers on Fridays. Something they let us do on Fridays that wasn't.
I wish they gave us like one day a week where we could just wear like some fly sneakers. They had to be all black too, so you couldn't really go crazy.
Yeah, with the colors or anything.
You had to wear something that was comfortable. And at that point, all black sneakers kind of look alike. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, we got 4 or 5 floors. We running up and down stairs trying to make sure we don't get late to class. I need something comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not running down, all these stairs with no church shoes on.
Yeah, nah, heck no.
I might pop a kill. I might.
For sure.
I'm like, injury is crazy. So I'm looking at it like that. But, you still got to follow the rules. But there was a lot of adjustments I had to make. So, honestly, that first year, I was like struggling. I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to school anymore. It ain't even enjoyable if I can't hoop. You know what I mean? So my mom, she kind of kept me on track. And she was like, it's only 1 year. So going into sophomore and junior year, start picking it up. We got a whole brand new coaching staff too. Shout out to my coach Daly, probably one of my favorite coaches I ever played for. He actually.
This is your sophomore year, coach?
This is my sophomore year. So going to sophomore year, we brought in a whole new coaching staff. So everybody thought they had a spot. That was done. Everything started from ground zero. He built the program right back up. And he was actually a father figure too. He did everything for us. So he was a great coach to play for. He ended up going to Penn State right after the year after I graduated. He ended up going to Penn State, got a great job there. So that
was a blessing in disguise for you.
It was because I felt like he was already ahead of his time too. So he was already coaching us on a college level. You know what I mean? So he wasn't coaching us as 10th and 11th graders. He was already looking at us like, where we going next,
Yeah.
So
that's key, man. I think definitely, if y'all didn't hear that, run that back real quick because a lot of coaches, man, we talk about it on this podcast all the time. They kind of view you as what you can do for them in that moment. And not a lot of coaches look at after they have you in their custody almost. Like they don't even really care about that. It's like, I want to win games right now. So how can you help me right now?
What could these college coaches give me or whatever?
Yeah.
In exchange for the players I'm putting into they funnel or whatever like that. And obviously, me going into sophomore and junior year, like I said, my friend Jeff Jones was there. So he was bringing in a lot of recognition because to be a top 20, 25 talent in the whole country, every college is in our gym.
Yeah, for sure.
During the week, you got Virginia, you got Duke, you got all these big schools or whatever. Whether they recruiting us or not, you can still put on a show too because they're going to come back to the games.
Yep.
So it was an opportunity for all of us. But I can't say my coach, he was probably one of the most selfless coaches I did have at
That's
that
awesome.
time.
So how did you play or how did you adjust from the 9th grade year to 10th grade? Were you actually like in the rotation? Was you really getting minutes or like you still was working your way up?
I think I was still working my way up. We would be in rotation just because I feel like that time we had a lot of injuries. Like a lot of the older
Yeah,
players, like seniors and stuff, just getting a lot of injuries. Shout out to my boy Chima because he was the one that had us in the gym all the time or whatever. Like,
That's
listen,
tough.
these seniors ain't really doing what they supposed to be doing. I don't care if you're a freshman, so it don't really matter. Like whoever's up next, like that's the type of time we on. But yeah, so we was just waiting for our moment. So whenever we got minutes, you just made the best out of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people seen them little sparks because they like, all right, this kid is only in 10th grade. If he doing that now, just imagine what he going to do when he get to 11th and 12th. So that was kind of like my journey. It was just always a uphill climb for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, all right, he ranked or
Yeah.
he's a top talent already. It was like I always had something to prove. So, you know, you had that chip on your shoulder where you didn't really care what the situation was. I was just going to play hard, whatever opportunity I got.
So tell the people out there, man, because people who don't know you is going to listen to this right now. Maybe 15 minutes in, and they hear about your up and down high school. Bro, you became a professional basketball player. So how did those two mix in? Because with somebody that's in high school right now that's listening to this, that's on that up and down roller coaster, sometimes they have in their head, which we're going to touch on mental health, they may have in their head that it's not possible to play professionally. You did that, and you were that other kid as well. So how did you do both?
I honestly, I think it come down to obviously believing in yourself, understanding what potential you have, and also I feel like having a good circle too. So when I bring that in, right, and just a little bit about my story too. Like I said, I wasn't ranked or nothing like that. So now I look back on it, it's funny because I used to look in the paper all the time. You know, you check your stats or whatever. Back when we had paper, now like
paper, man. Paper was the real deal. Like
the newspaper was
social media. That was social media.
Social media, right?
Yep.
So like every day, you know, we got a game. The first thing you do when you get to homeroom is pull out the. Well, we had Daily News. That was that's a Philly newspaper, right? You know, the first thing you go to the sports section, look at my senior Bonner, trying to find Cider in there somewhere where I could see my stats, how many field goals I had, free throws, steals, whatever the case may be. So, you know, that was like your recognition or whatever because you could just see your name in the paper. That's gratification for some kids, you know, at 13, 14 or in your young teens. So for me, that was it for me. But on the other end, like I said, having a good circle is because I feel like at a young age and still back then and even now, this wasn't that long ago, but getting caught up on, you know, the rankings or, you know, who's top 10 in the city. Like it's cool to look at, but I feel like they get so deep in it, they lose the bigger picture. Because
man, that's huge.
You look at the people now, you get Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, all these top talents. You look back 10 years ago, nobody was talking about these people. Like, they too short, they too small, they too slow. Like, obviously, Dame knew he had something to get to the point he had. Steph the same way. And they just focused on that. And that also go back to having a good circle because, you know, whether it's parents, grandparents, uncle, aunts, cousins, whatever, they keeping your mind focused on that. Where you're outside, whether it's old friends, new friends, or just people around you that ain't really in your close circle, they can take your mind off what your focus is. So they talking about rankings and you not being in the paper or you not being on, you know, the top 10 in the city or whatever. But really, them top 10 not going to be there maybe 5 years later because it's going to flip at some point. You might be top 10 later, but let's focus on just getting better every day right now and stop trying to focus on who's top 5 or whatever because none of that means nothing when you get to your end goal or whatever the end goal is.
And being from Philly, we talked about this player a little bit when I was at your crib, but Bones Holland.
Oh, yeah, Bones, yeah.
Shout out to Bones, man. Definitely from VCU, so he has those Richmond ties, man. And my aunt's a big VCU, like she graduated from VCU back in the day, but she don't miss a game. Like, she don't miss a home game. She die hard. And I remember vividly talking to her when Bones was a freshman. She's like, yeah, we got this new freshman kid, and, like, he's shooting a lot of crazy shots. And I'm like, yo, you don't know that dude's going to be – I said, eventually he's going to be y'all best player. I don't know. I don't see it. The next year, I said, yo, Bones y'all best player. We'll see. 5 games in, she said, yeah, Bones our best player. Then I said, yo, Bones might be going to the NBA. She's like, I don't know. I don't see it. Bones went out, first round draft pick. Now he's killing. And she calls me every time like, well, I was wrong about Bones.
Yeah,
I'm glad he ain't listen to me.
I'm wrong, right.
So, like, that's what you say, and that's what you mean by those players who really, these people that we just talked about, even the Stephs and the Dames, they didn't have a lot of people flocking to them, especially at that young age. And, again, being from Philly, did you see Bones as that?
I did, honestly. So, like, anybody from Philly, y'all already know, like, we play hard. And then we a guard city. Like, it's a big guard city, right? So anybody that's very shifty, shooting crazy shots like your aunt said she shouldn't be shooting, to us, that's normal. Yeah. Because we be working on that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So we come from a guard city. So all these moves and tricks and shots y'all seeing, like, to us, that's just what we normally do when we hooping against each other. Like, all our sessions at, like, St. Joe's and Temple runs and stuff like that, like, that's just what we see. Even at LaSalle, like, we do, you know, we used to have had scrimmages or whatever, just open gyms or whatever. You'll see those moves on a nightly, daily basis when you're hooping. But when they see it at college level on TV, people be like, why he even trying that? But to us, it's like we've been seeing that person do that move 1,000 times. You know what I mean? So that's normal to us. But I did like Bones though, because I'm obviously more slender guard, so I like ones that's not using their muscle. We more crafty. Oh yeah. We gotta use our skill more than our size, because we're usually smaller than people, and not height wise, obviously tall, but when you slimmer, you know, you a little crafty. And
that's all they talk about at that level, is how, dang, he not gonna be big enough, he not strong enough. And it's like, these dudes nowadays, man, it don't matter about that. If you got everything else, it don't matter about the strength.
It's the skill, right?
It's the skill,
Because everybody I named was doubted at one point. Too short, too small. Not enough muscle.
Shoot, KD, man, they've been talking about KD being so small his whole career, and this man, the best scorer we probably ever seen in our life.
He couldn't bench press. I don't even know how much.
It was 135, 145. Yeah.
I mean, he should be able to, I'm sure he could bench press it now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But how a lot of cities, DC, Philly, New York, those are guard cities, right? So in our head, we thinking, what a bench press got to do with putting the ball in the basket? Like, because if this dude could bench 300 pounds, but he can't put the ball in the basket, why does it matter?
Why does it matter? Because we're not doing no strong man competition. Yeah.
You play football, you know what I mean? But basketball, if you ain't putting no points on the board or put the ball in the basket, then why matter how much you could bench press? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think. But I did like Bones from day one when I did see his game. Obviously, he younger than me. But
for sure.
I always check back on the Instagram pages in Delaware, Jersey, and Philly talent. He was obviously one of the top talents. I mean, I seen it like that because I just seen how basketball was transitioning to more shifty, crafty shooters, right? That's his game.
Bones can shoot the lights out.
To muscle nobody. He trying to get by you or whatever, do a little couple moves and shoot right over. Yeah, that's what basketball look like right now. So he was going to fit right in anyway.
So that's tough. So touch on your professional days. You said you stayed over there a couple years. Yeah. Where were you at again?
So first, I went to the ABA.
Okay.
That was my first stop. So fresh out of college, I went to the ABA. I stayed in what was that, Arkansas, which probably like the worst. Like I wouldn't go back. Nothing against Arkansas.
Nah, I've been to Arkansas. Everything has to do with Arkansas. That joint ain't nothing there. What part was you in?
I was in Little Rock.
Oh, so you was in the actual city.
Yeah. So imagine being in the city and it's still not enough.
I know. You're right.
So the city was cool because it's right by Arkansas University.
Okay. So
you got a lot of the college traffic, but when it comes to me coming from a big city like Philly, it's like, bro,
what the heck?
Yeah, like what the heck is going on? So so that was my first stop actually, and then after that, trying to build up my resume and everything like that, I did get a chance to go to Istanbul for a short amount of time.
Okay.
I did enjoy it, whether if I was playing or not, because you want to explore, you want to see, I already love traveling, so I was like, it's a free trip either way.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean. So I did enjoy it there. It was a culture shock, 100%. Over is a more Muslim type of country, so they're a little bit more strict than what obviously we used to here, where we have a little bit more freedom to do so. But still enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I built a lot of relationships, man.
That's tough.
I met a lot of people, still talk to this day. It's funny because I actually was out maybe like earlier last year, like in the middle of COVID. I was still outside, but I was just trying to get some food real quick.
Yeah, facts.
I actually bumped into like two people that used to live in Istanbul, and they recognized me just walking down the street, and it was a coincidence. I was like, what made y'all move to this city?
Yeah.
It was just like, because usually when people move from another country, they go to New York.
Yeah.
Miami,
Yep.
like stuff they see on TV, LA,
Yeah.
right? So to me, it was interesting that they moved to Charlotte, and I was just like, well, that was dope because they said this was the top growing city at the time in the country, so why not try it out? But it was funny. I just bumped into them just getting something to eat, or we ended up just taking a quick picture and went our separate ways. But it's funny how, you know, you meet people for the second time, because the first time I met them was when I was in a different country.
For sure.
But yeah, but like I said, it was still a dope experience. You know what I mean? Even though it was very short, I took what I needed from it.
Yep.
To move to whatever the next step was, or whatever the next transition in my life was going to be. So took it for what it was, for sure.
How did you handle it mentally? So we like to, you know, ask former athletes, because a lot of players that want to play professionally in a sport, let's just use basketball because we talk about basketball, they think NBA or nothing, right? And I told my players this last year, like, y'all can get paid to play this game. It's just going to really come down to, are you going to be able to say, I want to play this game bad enough where I can go to a foreign place and play? But a lot of players get there and their mentals get messed up because it's real deal over there. Like, the arenas aren't as nice.
Nope.
Your living conditions is bad. You don't know how to speak the language. You may not even be playing, and then mentally you fall into a space. Did you ever have that happen to you when you went to Istanbul?
Honestly, I don't think I had a crazy mental like struggle, because all right, for instance, like when I first went to Arkansas, right, it was more exciting to me, even though it was Arkansas. I didn't know what Arkansas had to offer, right, because that was obviously my first stop. But being fresh out of college, I think I was only like 21 when I graduated, actually, too. So being in Arkansas, I was just looking at it like a vacation. I mean, it was still work to do. You still got to go to practice, you still got to work out, still got to show it to your games. But for me, it was like, I don't got to be in Philly no more. Yeah. That was like exciting to me because I didn't want to go back home anyway. As crazy as the city was at that time, I was just looking to just find a way out. I had a reason to move somewhere else. So it didn't matter if it was in the country, out the country. I would just look at the opportunity to just, you know, experience something new. Yeah. So going around, I don't think I really had a mental struggle at all, but I do think like not seeing family was my struggle. I'm really, obviously, you know, you've been over my crib. Yeah. You know, you see how I'm close to my family, like even today, like making plans and stuff like that. Family's definitely important, but once again, you know, you got to try something new, whether it's moving out the country or in the country or a different state or city. Sometimes you just got to just try it. That's tough. And if it don't work out, you always got somewhere to go back to. But I think that was my biggest struggle, was just not, you know, waking up and seeing your family or whatever, or getting to see your family. Yeah. You see your mom or something like that. So that was the biggest struggle. I think that's important that you touched on the experience part of it, because I think if a lot of athletes was to look at it like, let me learn a lesson from this, because again, like I said, they get over there and they immediately go into that dark place because their passion of basketball gets questioned. Right. Because you really gotta want to hoop. No, you really gotta want it, because like you were just saying too, you're not playing in an arena with 50,000. Yeah. You're not getting the same perks and all that stuff. It's really just a job. Really. There's certain leagues over there that's like that, but you have to be borderline NBA. So if I'm choosing not to go to NBA, I can go to a top league overseas and I can still have the gym packed. But people that's really trying to climb that ladder, it don't start off. Nah. You playing with hardwood bleachers. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen some bad gyms. Oh, I know you have. I seen some bad gyms before, but I'm glad you said that too, because it's two different sides too. Like you said, it's some real arenas that you really pack out, and then there's some that's just like, it's all right. But if you really love hooping, it's just like, listen, we got a game today, so we here to win, get the job done, and that's that. But I think that's why it's questioned though, because, and we spoke on this in previous episodes, is some people play the game because of what it can do for them. Right, yeah. And others play it because they actually love it. Right. So if you going overseas and it's because of what the game can do for you, the game might not be able to provide those resources. And honestly, good thing you said that too, because it won't. Because if you're there for that reason, it's going to stop at some point. That's what I'm saying. So if you don't love it as much as you say, then it's not going to be as enjoyable. And then when it does end, it's a possibility you go into that, that dark place we talk about. Yep. And I think that's big too, because if, like I said, if I didn't get paid a dime to hoop, I'm still going to hoop.
Me
somewhere.
too. I always said that.
I'm still going to hoop somewhere because even now, like if somebody called me like, yo, we having a session at such and such, I'm there. I ain't getting paid.
I'm actually looking for some Charlotte runs, bro. I
can put you on some good Charlotte.
All right, please do that. Please do that.
Charlotte runs and indoors. We ain't trying to break our ankles
Bruh,
outside or nobody.
I just got some new. I just bought some new PG5s, man. I wanna do it the right way. I like them, bro. Yeah, I like them, bro.
I hoop in my Kyries. I was a Kobe person my whole.
Me too, until I twist my ankle too much.
All low tops for me, obviously being more like a faster guard, more faster than everybody. I always had to do my low tops. I got millions of Kobe's in my. I still got college sneakers. I either gave away or I just kept just because I ain't gonna get rid of my Kobe's now.
Oh no, heck no.
Definitely not getting rid of my Kobe's. I don't care if they beat up or brand new.
Yeah.
I'm not reselling nothing. I'm keeping all my sneakers. Like I'm not getting rid of none of that stuff. Nah.
But yeah, man. Kyrie's is tough. I was a big Kyrie 1 and 2 guy, but then after that he started putting all this wild stuff on his shoes, bro. So I was like, I don't know. And then Paul George, I was actually talking about this earlier. I like when it's a superstar and their shoes are barely reaching over 100. Like Paul George is like 110.
Nah, they not bad. He got
and they comfortable.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I like PG sneakers too. I like PG. I just felt like I collected so many Kobe's at this point. I don't gotta even buy no more sneakers.
Yeah, you good.
I might have worn them maybe once or twice. I'm like, you know what? I need to just start hooping in these at this point. Now I'm rusty and retired, so I could have them last a little bit longer. I used to burn through my sneakers, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy when we look back on it. Sneakers back then, like we didn't take care of them Jones.
Like you seen Zion when he popped his sneakers?
Yes.
So instead of popping my sneakers, so it's a funny story too. I know my cousin Jay, he might see this episode at some point. He's actually the head coach at my university now, and the
tough
head athletic director. So congratulations to them because that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Also being a black coach in collegiate sports, not only being a college coach, but being an athletic director.
Yep.
That's a lot of things to juggle.
Yep.
But funny thing, so he used to help me get Kobe's all the time because you got people on campus that work at the local Foot Locker or something. Besides getting sneakers from the team. Yeah, somebody working for they always used to give us discounts, but I used to blow through my Kobe's and not like the bottom rip out. I would burn through them because I would run so fast. Mm-hmm. You look at the sneaker and the rubber would be burnt off. So I would run through maybe like.
You was running what? You was running like a 40-yard dash. Was 40 yards.
I honestly couldn't even tell you, bro. But
boy, running 4.2 if you
maybe
running out the sneakers.
Yeah, really. I was just like, man, we gotta buy more sneakers. So my coach even looked at it like, man, like he was like, you gotta get new sneakers like every couple of weeks. I'm like, man, I'm burning through them. We started putting like soles in it. That didn't help. I was like, I don't know what to do at this point.
God,
so at that time, my college coach named Jamie Chadwin. So he'll probably see this too. But he actually made me. He used to make me do suicides. Our centers used to never finish the suicides on time. So he would make me push our centers to finish on time. That's how fast I would have to go. So as everybody running on their own, I'm pushing somebody so we could finish faster.
Damn. So wait, would you finish? Would you finish yours first and then go back for them?
Nah,
or
I would do the whole suicide
with them.
Somebody.
God.
I would do the whole suicide.
Yeah, that boy was fast, y'all. That boy was fast.
But not to cut you off, but funny story. I had to do this too, and this is probably the worst story. I know all my teammates are gonna be mad. They were mad this day. So we had a practice one day. First time I ever been late to a practice too, and it wasn't even like no drunk stuff. Party night before. I don't know what happened this day. I just was late. It was what it was. So obviously I walk in the gym. Everybody already practiced, and so you know that you ever been late to practice?
Yeah, I have.
Okay,
it's not fun.
It's not a good feeling.
Fun.
So when you walk in, everybody like, all right, man, look at you. Everybody looking at.
Hey, it get quiet in there.
It gets super
the
quiet.
Door open up,
and imagine being in like a gym or a stadium, and it's just no crowd, obviously, it's just practice, and you can hear a pin drop, like it's so quiet, and then you just walk in, everybody looking at you, so you already know what everybody thinking, right? So. College coach was just like, he was like, all right, Rob, stop practice. He let everybody get a drink, get on the line. So I'm like, that's normal. You coming late to practice, you running. You know you running, right? Mm-hmm. So he like, all right, do a suicide as fast as you can. So I'm like, all right. So I'm just thinking he going to just run me for like 5 suicides, maybe until I burn out. So I do 1 suicide. I probably do it in some crazy time. So he like, get on the line again, do it again. Did it again. I probably matched the same time. I might have did 2-3 more times after that. And I might have did it in some crazy time that was just like, all right, you good.
Usually you get, what? Is it?
You know what's crazy? It's been so long I did a suicide. I don't know when you're supposed to finish, but I know when you're supposed to finish. I did it in.
See, we did ours was called 22s, so we had 5. We had 5 up and down. So I don't remember what the suicide was.
So our suicide, you go from baseline.
Oh yeah, it's a free throw, and then yeah. So
back to baseline.
I don't remember what time we used.
I don't remember the time. I'm sure somebody will put in the comments or
something.
But I
find that out for us.
Whatever the time was, I know I finished it in way before we were supposed to finish it. So he just stopped the clock after that because he kept the clock on the scoreboard.
Yep.
So he like, all right, go on the side. So I'm thinking, you know, I don't get to practice today. You done ran 8 times or whatever. You burnt out. He like, everybody get on the line besides Rob. So I'm like, I don't know what he about to do. So I'm nervous because I'm just like, I feel like he gonna punish everybody because of me, right? Everybody get on the line. He like, all right, look at the shot clock. Whatever time Rob finished that last one, y'all got to finish in. So I'm thinking in my head, I already know nobody about to finish this.
Nobody going to finish that.
Because I wasn't even supposed to finish it like that. I was just running hard because I didn't want my teammates to be like, oh, you came late.
And you BSing,
yeah, and you BSing, like, you're not even going to run hard. I'm like, I'm just running hard to show, you know, you the leader of the team. So it's just like, you can't be playing around. So I'm trying to set the example. And we might have had some recruits up in the stand looking at our practice. I'm just like, man. So he made these dudes run as many suicides as they could until they matched the time. But you know, after like 4 or 5 suicides, you ain't making no time.
People cussing, man, God, maybe throwing up at the time. Like, you're not doing that.
They got to the point where people started throwing up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they pissed at you.
So he made him run, like I said, like maybe 4 or 5 times. Nobody ever finished the time. So after that, he got so mad, he just sent everybody home. So, you know, we talked about in the locker room after that. So shout out to everybody that had to do the suicides. I was sorry, but ain't nobody finished it. So he got so pissed, he just sent everybody home.
It's crazy because you got some coaches who would have just ran the players when you were late.
Right.
Like, punish them. Like, punish them. Like, I had some coaches that's like, hey, Rob, you good? Everybody on the line. You had to watch them run. And then they really mad at you after that.
Yeah.
So
he made me run first, thinking they were off the hook. Then legit put me on the side and then watch them try to beat the time, knowing it wasn't ever going to happen. So that was a crazy day just to see that. And then obviously it wasn't pretty when the trash cans come.
Oh yeah, nah.
Chairs and trash cans. So
yeah,
that was great. We still talk about that. It was so funny because I was like, man, as soon as he said match the time, I was like, yeah,
it's a wrap.
He about to send us home,
bro. I wanted to ask you, when you was in Istanbul, were you still tapping into your art side? Was that still like always there?
Yeah, so just rewind it real quick, right?
Yep.
So before anything basketball, after college, I started my graphic design business in high school. So I know we didn't touch on that because we was obviously talking about basketball and everything. So in high school, I started my graphic business. I might have been, I think it's 10th grade or 11th. It was somewhere in the middle, sophomore, junior year. I started my graphic business, and I never stopped from 10th grade all the way up until obviously today, right?
Yep.
So in college, that was pretty much like my work study. I didn't have to do work study because I was like, why I'm doing that? All right, I work all day anyway.
Yeah.
It's practice, whatever, therapy, whatever, more practice, game, work, and schoolwork, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was always working on my art. So I never stopped. So after college, I really just took it to another level because I felt like my business was somewhat established already at that point. It was just a matter of managing it properly because you balancing another job, a job at this point. So I never stopped the art side. I just think I probably wasn't painting or anything at that time because everything was digital. Everything was just graphic design. I always kept a computer on me on my laptop. So definitely never stopped. So like my schedule really never changed from college or after that. It was practice, your game days.
Yep.
And when I go home, I'm on a computer. And it was just like that. So I felt like I was still working on both my crafts every day.
So were you, when you say you started the business in 10th grade, you had everything, like you had it filed, you had all that stuff, or?
No.
Okay, I was ready to say.
Nice if I did.
I was ready to say, bro.
Way ahead of my time.
What?
Nah.
So, man, you had me thinking like, yo, this man mine was real advanced.
Nah, I wish.
Okay. You just had that so locked in and focused that it was that business without it being structured. Okay.
It was locked in that business, right? Because in high school, I like I said, I started taking basketball serious at that point, right? So I'm like, either basketball gonna take me out of here, whether it's just college or anything. I know it's gonna take me out of here, right? But when that ends, or in the process of still hooping, what else can I do where I don't have to work?
Yeah,
that was my mindset at that time. Like, cause you can't work a job.
Yeah,
you gotta think. I travel an hour every day to get to school. That's just one way. I gotta get on a bus and a trolley just to get to campus in high school at that time. So an hour plus every day, right? And an hour back home. So to me, it's like, in high school, your typical jobs, you work at Dairy Queen, Burger King, McDonald's or whatever, if they even last long enough. But when do you ever have time?
You still ain't making enough.
Yeah, you're still not making enough. So I'm just thinking, like, how can I work a job and play sports or whatever when sometimes we be leaving campus, it be late. Like, I'm getting home, dinner already ready, parents already going to bed or whatever. So it's like, where can I really work a job at? So, and it's good that I had that mindset too, because even when I got to college, I was like, why would I work if I could just work for myself? And I could
so
were you
really making money then?
In college or high school?
In high school. High
school, it was good money depending on who you asking.
Okay.
Depending on who you asking, it was still good money.
Oh yeah, for high school, if you getting 400 every 2 weeks, you good.
That's the and
you up,
and you don't got to clock out.
Yeah, you up.
So it's like, bro, I made $400 from my house.
Yeah, you up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you up.
I left practice and made $200.
Yeah,
I could buy the new Jordans tomorrow.
Nah, you
if
up.
I want to.
Yep, you up, bro.
So, and it's funny too, because now I look back at it, man. Going home every day was a process. So this is like, I was in high school. I think I went to high school 2005, going into my freshman year. So 2005. So at that time, like, Wi-Fi was not as popping as it is now on social media, right? So when I would come home, we had AOL.
Yep, dial up.
That's crazy to bring AOL. Like, if I tell my son about AOL, he be like,
Don't know
what is AOL, right?
Bro, you had to look at the running man, go across, and if he stop in the middle, you praying like, please. Buddy might have a delay, then his feet start moving again, you good.
Yep, you good, right?
But if not that, bro, you sitting there just waiting on him to move. Like,
and that is a struggle too, because you just sitting there like, he might make it, he
might not.
And we probably triggering some people right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, bro, y'all really just brought up AOL to show you how, like, old we getting, I guess. But you're a 90s baby. You had to deal with AOL at some point, right?
That dial up.
So, but you was asking me, like, did I have all my stuff filed in high school? I didn't, because at that time it was just a hustle.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
It was 100% just a hustle. But my family was already big on starting businesses and working for themselves, right? You know, my grandma having hair salons, nail salons. My pop-up having a beer distributor, the only black-owned beer distributor actually at that in the States. You know what I mean? Because they're usually owned by other people or whatever. But he was the first black-owned one. So all I seen was entrepreneurship, to be honest. So, and it's funny because my parents worked jobs. My mom worked in the nail salons with my grandma, so technically she's still an entrepreneur. But my parents, technically, they worked regular jobs. So looking around my parents, my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts, I'm like, no one really works for nobody. Like, I don't see nobody working for nobody. So that's all I really knew. And I think it comes down to having a good circle too, because, if that's all I see, then that's all I'm going to know.
Yep.
So to me, it's like, why am I going to work for somebody else if I don't even see nobody else?
So you've always been entrepreneurship?
Never
always
had a
been.
job, bro.
That's tough.
I never even filled out a job.
That's
application
tough.
Before. And not that that's a bad thing too, because I seen great jobs that I would have took on. And
it's still nothing better than what you did and doing. And I preach that a lot to a lot of people, because I've had jobs my whole life, and now I'm sliding away from that, and I understand the difference in freedom, because you can give your best to a job, they would never give their best to you.
Right.
You can give your best to yourself, you will always give your best to yourself.
If you put 100% in, you're going to get it right back. If you put 100% in your job, they're only going to give you back what they think you deserve, right? So
no, they're going to give you under what you actually deserve.
Under what you deserve.
Yeah.
Right? So and then like I said, bringing that back in high school, I started my graphic business just by doing T-shirts. That was my first.
Okay.
Business. I would honestly just find images on Google, cut them out or whatever, put it on Photoshop, print it out. And this was back and when BJ's was selling black paper. I know some people already don't know what black paper is, but it's when you would print an image out on paper, and then you would flip it over, cut it out, whatever, and put it over a T-shirt. I had a
hot press.
I had a hot press at the time. My grandma had a hot press in her basement, and
you was killing the game then.
Yeah. So and my god brother actually is one that started the business with me, and my friend Latif, rest in peace to him. But that's how we started our first business. We did T-shirts. We used to call ourselves the Havoc Boys, because we used to cause havoc, I guess you could call it, right? That was corny back then, but when we was teenagers. It was
Oh yeah,
cool,
what's
right?
up?
So we started a business called Havoc Boys. So we started doing T-shirts. So I would do the designs. I print them on T-shirts. I was selling these T-shirts for like $50 a pop, easy.
And your overhead was probably like what, $15 a shirt?
Less than that.
Oh.
So, you know, at the time you got H&M, which is still popping to this day, but it was another store called like American Apparel or something like that, where you could still buy just plain clothes, like plain sweatpants, T-shirts.
Yep.
If you was getting them in bulk order, you could get like 100 shirts for like not 15 a shirt, you might get them for like 6, 7 a shirt. So instead of just getting one shirt at a time, we would go downtown, go get like a big bundle of shirts. We might half it or whatever, and then we would be in my mom's basement just, you know, printing out these shirts or whatever and taking orders, right? And like I said, this was before social media, so this is all foot traffic and word of mouth. We had MySpace though.
Yeah,
MySpace was the originator of social media, by the way. Without MySpace, Facebook,
it'd be nothing.
Well, it never been nothing, right?
Did you ever have a bball?
Nah, what's that? A bball?
No, man, it was called bball. Like it was a super knockoff. Like, cause MySpace was tough. Like, you had your top friends.
Top 8,
you had your top 8. You had people that was upset if they weren't in your top 8. You had people that was upset if they were like number 8. Like you had all that.
He said they was upset if they wasn't in your top 8.
Bro, you had to go through that.
You really did.
That was a real
thing.
Arguments
in your DMs at that time.
Because guess what? MySpace, I don't know how they got wind of that, but you remember MySpace started off with like only top 8 and top 16, right?
Yeah.
It ended at like top 64. Top 32 was like, people had top 32s because people like, I need more because I got more than friends, 8 people.
You're trying to upset your girl,
bro.
Other girl.
What? That was
like,
the thing.
Y'all in my top, y'all good. Or I got a 64 now, so everybody can fit in.
But maybe Bebo was a Richmond thing, but Bebo was. I'm glad that you said no because
I have no clue what.
You good. You actually better off without having Bebo. But I want to transition into this, bro, because I think that people need to hear this about the entrepreneurship and the mindset. There were dark days for you as well, having your own business.
Oh yeah,
right.
That come with it.
That comes with it. How do you adapt to that? How did you get out of the storm when you had those storms when things weren't going your way?
I think the first thing is kind of like taking steps back sometimes, right? So like till this day, I still do it. So like we all have mental blocks sometimes, right? Whether it's art or even like your platform, you're trying to create content, stuff like that. I think the best thing is just don't do it at all. Because if you have too much of something, it just become overwhelming, and then it takes your creative like side out of you, right?
Okay.
Because that's all you doing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just gotta get out and just do something that has nothing tied into what your focus is on, so you can refocus and get back into it at full strength. And that's just how I do things, especially when it comes to art. You know what I mean? Like designing stuff, if it's like a magazine or an album cover or stuff for record labels and stuff, obviously they're very time sensitive when they need stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna take on a project, I need to know I'm in a certain space to complete these projects. But then at the same time, sometimes you just not. And doing more of that work is just frustrating you more, where you can't even like think clear, especially when it's a creative. Everything's content now. I know I heard a saying not too long ago. It was currency. Content is currency, right?
Yeah.
Because the better content you have, the more you can pay yourself. I guess because everything gets paid by content. But when you putting too much into it, it's like then you running out of ideas. But when you do other stuff, it brings that imagination back where you can create more. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, when I would have mental blocks or I would have them dark days where I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to do this no more. I can't think of nothing no more. It's just like, maybe just let me just do something else. Maybe go to the beach or spend time with your family. Go see a movie or hit a museum. Or just do something that has nothing connected to what your business or your work is, because then it'll just open up your mind a little bit. When you come back, you refreshed.
I think that's good advice. I think that's really good advice, because I think the last thing that people think they need to do is take a break from it.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work out or something's not going the way you plan it to go, you want to put more energy into that thing. And like you said, your head gets congested with all these things that's not happening or going well for you, and you start to lose yourself even more. That's that rabbit hole, and that's that dark place that we talk about. Because once you're there, there's a big weight that's trying to keep you there.
Right.
You got to really fight your way out of that dark place.
Fight it, and sometimes it takes a step back. Sometimes it takes a couple steps back
forward.
In, right?
Yep.
Because you can always be in the midst of it, but you can't really see it from a full perspective, because you in the middle of it. But it's like the outside looking in. If you take a step back, you can see the whole field. You see the whole playing field. So
Yep.
you can see where you're going wrong or what might work and what not work and try different things. But when you in it, it's just, like I said, it could be frustrating. Sometimes everybody goes through it. Like running your own business, it's not easy. That's why everybody don't do it.
Yep.
If it was easy,
Everybody would do it. Yep.
Everybody would be a boss. And there's nothing wrong being a worker neither, because you can't be a boss without workers neither, because they still got to keep the shit float, right? But at the same time, if you do want to work for yourself or start a business, you got to understand, like, you're only going to get out what you put in, because it still come down to you at the end of the day. But if you're not ready for dark days, then don't be worried about the celebrations and the,
because that's what I see. That's what I see a lot now. You know, especially with social media, you got everybody wanting to kind of transition into that entrepreneurship mind, which is good because I mean, people are now starting to wake up. But you got people. I mean, you got 75% of everybody on IG when you go to their page, it says entrepreneur, right? And
I already know what you're about to say too.
And when you really think about it and you see it, I literally, this is how I feel about it. I think it's disrespectful to those who are really entrepreneurs like yourself, because there's an easy way to put entrepreneur right there, but how many of those people are going to do what you said and make it through those dark days, keep pushing when there's no finish line or goal line, or if they're not getting pat on the back? How many people are going to do that? Everybody that got that on their tag is not going to do that. So I feel like it's disrespectful, because now people in today's age can say what they want, do what they want, and then of course on social media you can be who you want.
You could be anybody in the internet.
You could be anybody. So how do you separate, I guess, somebody that you can see that's on the same type of time you on? How do you separate if they're really for real or not? What are the traits that you look for?
Just in general or social media? Though?
Just in general, but base it off of social media, of what you see on social media.
Definitely the stuff I see on social media, I think, like you said, you can put anything in your bio.
Mm-hmm.
I could put out my gymnastics in my bio, but if you don't see me stretching and doing backflips and whatever, it don't match up, right?
Yep.
So I feel like it come down to, like, obviously people you see on social media, you don't see in real life too. So that's another thing. So you can only go off what you see on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes people give you a little peek of what they do on a daily basis or what they do on a weekly basis when it comes to their work.
Yep.
So it's like, for me, for instance, like, I show a lot of my final projects, but now I'm starting to show more
the process
of what it is, like, from the beginning. Like same thing with Jay. Like, obviously with the TVs, it looked good when it's already mounted.
Yep. But the process.
You see the process of why he could charge what he wants, or why he has certain days that might not be better than others, because you guys see all the work that he puts in when it comes to wiring and having equipment and having stuff like that. So every business has a process, right? So I think for me to depict who's really putting in the work and who's not is what you show. Because you can show me an end product, whether if it's, like, for my instance, it could be graphic design and art, but did you see how long it took me to design this, or the pieces I need to make the piece complete, or going back and tweaking stuff that somebody didn't like, whatever like that. So on social media, like I said, people put stuff in their bio, but is the process matching the title?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, same thing. You could say you're a professional, but are you doing the stuff that professionals do to consider yourself one?
Yep.
So for me, that's how I would separate some people, right? Separate some people from if they really put in the work and standing up to what they title that they want to hold, or they just saying that this is what they are. Right?
I like that, man, because I ain't gonna lie, right now I get irritated when I go on social media a lot, just because I understand what you just said. And I understand how social media is portrayed now in today's time. It's almost like a clown can go on social media, like literally be a clown, and go on social media and be a CEO of a business. Yeah. Behind the computer. Yeah,
because you could do, I mean, it's just a couple clicks of a button.
It's a couple clicks of a button. So what I say that I'm irritated is, I know certain people.
Not what they saying they are. Yeah. That's 100% too.
And you able to and you're able to portray something else, and it bothers me because what do they look for? What we just talked about. Right. They do that to look for the pass on the back.
Right.
But they not really doing what you're saying with.
And most people that really are entrepreneurs, you know you're not gonna get no pats on the back. Because most people, First of all, people can't give you no pat on the back because they don't even know what you had to do to get to the point you at or to get done what you're getting done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for my instance, right, learning graphics or learning designs, obviously started with painting and just drawing, but then I transitioned to learning how to do digital art, right? So, and even going into NFTs and stuff like that as well with digital art, right? So that was all a learning curve for me because you see me now, but you don't look at the years I put in high school where I was up until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Got to go to school in an hour. My mom waking me up in the morning. I'm already on the computer still from the night before because I never even went to sleep anyway. You know what I mean? So, you know, people say, because I get a lot of DMs from people now too on my business page that say they, you know, they want to be grabbed, especially a lot of young people too.
Okay.
Because they seeing that you can make money online.
Yep.
And they're like, I love art, so I want to find a way how to make money, right? So I'm just like, are you willing to put in the work? Because it's easier now too.
Yep.
So I'm like, if you're not willing to put in the work now, you definitely not about to do what I did years ago. Because like we talking about AOL, I couldn't, and this was where YouTube was popping too. And it's funny because I used to sit on YouTube and watch tutorials and read on just how to like work the programs and stuff. Obviously, you get a new program, you don't know what you're doing. You just playing around trying to figure stuff out, pressing some buttons and stuff, right? But I would sit up and read for hours and watch tutorials, and I would just watch the videos over and over again, and I would just implement what I seen on the screen, and I would do it on my computer. Same thing with basketball. I see a move, you just practice the move a million times until you perfect it, right? So it was the same thing with that. But I'm like, if you're not even willing to do that, you're definitely not about to do it now because you got access to everything now. And back then, YouTube, you didn't get paid off it, nothing. Like, it wasn't no million views back then. One video might have had 50 views at the time. Nobody even knew what YouTube was.
And you was popping.
So I also was self-taught. So I never went to school for art, by the way, neither.
Okay.
So I wasn't taught. I didn't take no graphic classes or computer class. I didn't take none of that stuff. I just was home, just learning on my own. So it was really trial and error for me. So like you were saying, like the dark days, I had a lot of dark days because there was a lot of stuff I was messing up. I ain't had nobody to ask and be like, yo, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I had to find out by just messing stuff up.
I think that's what, and I wish Stat was here for this, but I think that's what we're struggling with right now with this, because people always see the finished product and they don't see exactly what we have to do to even get this space, right? So I don't like to harp on it a lot because I know my faith is strong. So I try not to have those dark days, but we have conversations where we're like, damn, bro, like, are we really going to be able to do this? Because what we got to do to even have the finished product takes a lot. And we're not really getting, let's just use pat on the back. We're not really getting that as fast as we thought we would, but I know it's a process. And that's why I said what I said about, I feel like it's disrespectful when I see that from other people, because you don't know what the process is like. Before you even put that up there, know what the process is like. So us having those challenging times, that's what helps me get out of those things, because I'm like, this is a process. Yeah. Like, if we did it for instant gratification, we did the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
It's just like I said, I was in that room on the computer for hours and nobody was checking on me or saying good job or we know it's going to work out or whatever. And it's funny too, because my parents kept telling me to get a job when I was in college. I'm like, I ain't even graduated yet. You already talking about getting a job already? And I'm like, I just put in 7+ years of learning a craft. Why would I just run and give all my creativity to somebody else when I can hold it to myself and I can figure it out? And it's like I said, stuff go wrong, you can always fall back on a job too. Job's always going to be here. We're going to be working until the end of time.
For sure.
So, you know, a lot of people get scared with starting something new, which is scary. It's scary to start something new or from scratch. On your own, that's scary.
Faith got to be strong, man.
But it's also scary doing something for the rest of your life that you're not happy with and then not getting treated how you want to be treated or compensated how you want to be compensated. And you look back like, damn, I gave 40 years to the wrong person.
Scary.
That's like a bad marriage.
Yep. Yeah, that's like
a bad marriage.
Facts.
You're married to whoever.
Yep.
And, you know, like I said, and it's really not jobs that is bad. It's just that, are you happy at what you're doing? Because there's great jobs out
85% of the people aren't.
And people look at, and like I said, I don't talk down on no jobs because I got a lot of working family too, and I got a lot of business owner family too. So I would never say nothing like that. But at the same time, just do what you love to do. And even if it's part-time, you can still work a job and go home and paint.
Yep.
Or start a podcast on the side, anything like that. And then when you really get passionate about it, that's when it really turns.
Yeah, it's not a job anymore. Yeah, yep.
That was just something you like to do. But then when you compensate it for it and you like to do it, like it's no better combination than getting paid for what you like to do.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just the startup. It like I said, it does get scary because you got to cut off something to start it, right? You got to cut off something.
And you want to know what the biggest obstacle of entrepreneurship is to certain individuals is there is no plain out black and white structure.
Yeah.
When you work a job, you have a boss who's telling you, hey, Rob, this is what we need you to do, man, X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
When Rob by himself and he's an entrepreneur, Rob got to get up and say, this is what Rob needs to do. And a lot of people need that person saying, hey, this is what we need you to do.
Like to be on them, right?
Be on them. So I think that's the biggest hurdle because I think that's why I am built for how I'm transitioning to my life now is because, bro, I never needed somebody to tell me, hey, man, we need you to do this. Like, yeah, like people have told me that and it's cool. I've done it, but I never needed that I never needed that peer boost. I could always boost myself to be like, bro, let's get up and do something today. Let's tackle this day. Like, there's no, if nobody telling me I need to do that, I'm going to just stay in the bed all day. Like, nah, like, you need to go do something productive. So I want you to touch on this, man, because, again, a lot of people don't even understand what you have done. Like, you working with some high-class people, man. Mm-hmm. Like, talk about those individuals and how you got involved with them and, like, what you're doing with them.
So starting, like we was talking about MySpace earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all this other stuff that we had, right? I kind of caught wind of this stuff early, right? Because I seen where social media was going. Because before I even had a website, I was like, you get free promotion on the internet. Like, we don't got to pay for this.
Yeah.
You got to think when the internet first started popping, and even to this day, everything has a subscription. You can't do nothing for free on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Everything's $9.99 or $19.99, or your first month free or first week trial is free. Then you got to start paying $20 a month, right? So MySpace was cool because not only could you connect with random people, you never seen these people a day in their life, but you could build a connection with them, but you could also promote whatever the heck you wanted. Whether if you was a bachelor and you was looking for a woman, or if you was a woman looking for a man, or you were an athlete trying to promote your highlights, or anything like that, you didn't have to pay no money for someone to see your stuff. It's just public information, right?
Yep.
So at that time, I looked at it like, well, if I like my art and other people that in my circle like it, why can't I just show it to the world too for free? Like, they gonna be able to, all you gotta do is go to my photo album. You can see everything I ever did, right? So I think that was the start of something, because obviously MySpace ended up transitioning into Facebook, right?
Yep.
And then being from Philly too, and then also being an athlete, like anybody from Philly know, if you play basketball, football, any type of sport that's big in Philly, everything's like tied into each other, from rappers, basketball players, football players. Everyone's connected somehow. Like, your friend knows this person, this person knows this, right? So it's funny because when I did on MySpace, people don't even know to this day they can code. It's a funny topic, right? Because when you had MySpace, how do you think you made a top 1? You know how you could edit your top friends? Instead of having a top 8, you could have a top 4, or you could have a top 30. You could
Yeah.
That was coding. Because you couldn't do it just on the settings. You would have to put some type of.
But no, but remember they made that an option after a while.
Yeah, they made it an
in
option.
The beginning. In the beginning,
So
but
in the beginning you couldn't.
Yeah,
do that, right?
you couldn't do it. Yeah.
So you would have to code, like put some type of code in to make your top 8 be whatever number you wanted it to be, right?
Facts.
Or people that did have MySpaces watching this, they know you can put like your image in the background.
Yes.
Or you can make your picture go left and
right. Oh, okay.
That was technically coding, right?
I did that.
So now you're looking 10, 20 years later or whatever from MySpace days, people building websites or customizing stuff online. It's still coding. It was just on a different platform. But it was just funny because at that young age, I kind of seen that already transition into whatever the next big thing was, which became Instagram and Facebook. So we already was getting a skill set. It was just like, I'm going to just get to promote it for free now.
Yeah.
Because of my MySpace page, right? Because I ain't going to lie, my MySpace page was lit all the time, right?
Yep.
I changed it like
every week.
month, or month.
Yeah.
I changed it frequently, right? So what happened was I started designing MySpace pages for people. So they would have a custom page, had a girlfriend going from left to right, whatever, up and down, whatever. So I started connecting with a lot of like local artists in the city or whatever. So you might not be familiar with, but you might have seen it. You ever heard of Quilly Mills before?
He was a rapper?
He was a rapper. I know you know who Meek is, though.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
So those are my 2 first people I ever designed like graphics for.
Okay.
But I was doing it for free at this time because I ain't had no prices.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I was 13, so I was just doing stuff because I loved art. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would edit pictures for him or whatever, and then I started designing a MySpace page, so it was a custom page. So that's how I learned how to code. So then we were just talking about like how I started building bigger clients. I was doing stuff for free for like a year, and this is what we talking about earlier. People don't really see the back stuff, and he probably don't remember this too because I was like 13, so he could have only been like 16 at the time, right?
Yeah.
But if you go back to MySpace, it might still be there because we probably haven't touched our pages in
for sure
a decade, right?
For sure.
So I think that's how I built my clientele because I would put, and this was smart too, which is crazy now I think about. I actually got it tatted on me. So before I started my company name, which is Beyond Graphics Media,
okay,
I used to call myself Rob Styles because I wasn't even thinking that far ahead that I should probably get a business name. I was just like, it's just me.
Yeah.
I should just call it Rob Styles. So I used to put my name at the bottom of all my designs, flyers, websites, MySpace pages, whatever. But I always put my cell phone number at the bottom. So they would have to call me and be like, I seen your name at the bottom. I figure you designed it, right? So that was already smart marketing. And I had a cell phone at the young age. I was already paying my own bills. So that was like my business phone, I guess you could call it at the time. So I would put my cell phone number. I put my name at the bottom of everything I did. Even if you go to my Facebook page now, I took all my old designs and I put them in an album on my Facebook. You go to the bottom of every design, it says Rob Styles, 610-803-1447, which is crazy. I still remember that number. I had it for so long, and I put it on so many things at this point, right? So from there, you know, when you got clients like that become what they are now, like a Meek Mill or people I was working with at the time, they're seeing your name on old artwork. So they go back to you. Now you got a Facebook now. Once again, it's free promotion. So they're seeing your designs on everything. So honestly, I didn't go find clients a lot of the times. They were just finding me. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't have a cell phone number no more. But, you know, it's still connected to all my pages. So it's easy to find it. Now, obviously, websites and stuff is easier to just look at your portfolios. But at that time, I honestly was building clientele from he said, she said. Like, I seen you do a picture for whoever. All right, let me find his number. I'm going to call him and get the same thing.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. But obviously, you know, you progress when you're having a business too. And then it's like, all right, let me get business cards. Let me build a website. Let me do that stuff. But it was free promotion. So I was like, I could build a clientele for free.
And that's very important that you said that because a lot of successful entrepreneurs have the same story that you had as far as starting off for free.
Yeah, starting off for free.
And becoming an entrepreneur, there are different challenges that you face constantly every day, and the beginning stages is not getting that income coming in. So you have to have the mindset to say, I have to give this away for free because this is going to come back to help me later on down the road.
I was doing stuff for free for so long, man. Like those first
grab the
years,
mic, bro.
Yeah,
You good.
You
could. Yeah, bro. You could pick it up. Chill out.
Those first years, like I said, those first years it wasn't even a struggle because, like I said, I'm still learning the craft. You know, I was still learning how to build a business, perfect the craft, to make sure all my art was cool. So for me, I'm looking at it like, why would I charge these people if I don't feel like I perfected it enough? I didn't perfect it enough. And I think that's another thing too. People jump into early. They want to charge you these high prices, but your craft ain't there yet. You see what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna offer me a service that you half-ass did? You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure you get a good product before I'm charging. So I was doing stuff for free for a long time, and now I could look back at it like that was really just those are just my practices. Because now I could charge you whatever the heck I want. I know it's gonna come out how it's supposed to come out. Whether it's a menu or cocktails for restaurants or stuff like that, I'm like, I know I'm gonna give you the product that you want because I already put in all the free work and years. I'm done with that. You see what I'm saying?
I'm doing that now, man. Training kids in basketball, and the marketing company I started to work with, the other trainers on there had like $70 an hour, $50 an hour, $40 an hour, and it's like, hey, coach, what's your price? And I'm thinking like, I can't put my price up there. Like, I'm just getting into the business, so I'm like, 30.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, right? I'm like 30. No traction.
Yeah.
So you know what? 20.
Yeah.
So all right, move it down to 20. Clients hit me up now, and now the team is like, hey, do you want to raise your price? I'm like, no, I'm not raising. The first 10 people that decide that they want to train with me, they all gonna get $20 an hour. After that, I'm established. I got 10 kids.
You can build it up from there.
Now, all right, I'm sorry, new people, y'all have to pay this.
And
so
you know what you offer too, so then you can know what
exactly,
you can charge
exactly. So that hit home with me, bro, because like I said, anybody that's starting off, of course, I want $70 an hour.
Yeah, of course.
Because I come rebound for you, train you, whatever. But I'm like,
full service.
Exactly, because really, $20 after the marketing team, which I'm learning from you, I can do it myself. But after the marketing team take their cut, I'll probably get $15.
Right. And it's still good at the time because you're still building your clientele. But after a while, I feel like when you build repetitive customers or people that fall in love with whatever your service is, and not only do they love your service, but they love you as a person too, because they kind of become like friends too if they're coming repeatedly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny you said that too, because I still look back at stuff I did now. I'm like, damn, I only charged like $50 for that when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like one person that I still keep in communication with somewhat to this day, DJ Damage, big DJ from Philly. He's actually on Revolt TV now.
Okay.
He's out in Cali. He's on Revolt TV. And I remember when I was I was probably still in college or whatever, and I was still doing designs between basketball and stuff. I designed his first logo. DJ Damage is a simple DJ. It looks dope though, but to me it was simple, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at TV one day, or I might have been on YouTube or something, because I watch Revolt TV pretty much because they got some good shows on there. He's on one of the talk shows. First thing I see pop up is his logo. I'm like, I designed that like 15 years ago. Still using the same logo. Charged him like $50, but at that time that was my price because my service. I didn't even know my service was that good. You see what I'm saying? But it shows that some of the work you put in, no reason you should be charging that no more when you know how far it could go. Somebody using the same logo 15 years ago, like I call that the Nike rule, right?
Yep. I
call that the Nike rule. If anybody know like the Nike story, when Nike was created, the person that designed the Nike logo, I think they might have got $50 or something. I don't know if it was 50 or 5. It was something low. It was something low, right?
Whatever it is, it ain't what they should have got.
If it's 50 or 500, it's still not enough because Nike's is a huge. It's one of the biggest brands. Period.
Absolutely.
You can't go nowhere without seeing Nike, right?
Yep.
Just imagine if you design Nike logo and you got $50. You can't break bread with your family. Nike over here sold one shirt for $50, and you designed there's nothing without a check mark on it. Right. I know it's the most simplest logo, but obviously only one person thought of it, right? So you should be compensated for that. But maybe at that time, that's what they wanted to charge. But now he looked back at it like, I'll never do another company logo for $50, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of them things. But you got to start somewhere. And I think being humble in the beginning is key too, because why would I charge you $100 for something I'm still trying to build up too? And then when I got you in, I can up the prices because you already enjoy the services that I'm offering, whether it's training or personal trainer, anything like that. It's like you can up the price because this person already locked in and they like what you're offering. They wouldn't have stayed to this point.
Yeah.
They would have already got somebody else.
Damn.
You would have got somebody else.
I want to move it forward, bro. It was one conversation we had at your house when me and Jason came over there. We was talking about at the time Michael Beasley podcast.
Oh yeah, because I was watching it
when you came over. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts after you watched the whole thing, because when we had came, you said you was watching the middle.
I rewatched it.
What was your thoughts on that, man? How did you view that? Because I know, again, as an athlete, when the game doesn't love you the way back, you know what I mean? Mentally, you go and you can lose it. So what's your thoughts on that situation?
It still go back to like everything I said. I feel like it always come back full circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So earlier we were talking about having a good circle, like having good people around you, right? Like, and me younger, like I was under Mike Beasley, so I think I was maybe maybe 1 or 2 years behind Mike Beasley, right? So I knew he was a super talent. I hate to see him go to the NBA and not be what I've been seeing him through high school, college. Like, if you put him on any court, he would cook 85% of the people in the NBA right now. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Whether he doing it because he angry or he still love the game, it don't matter. He get buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a bucket getter, right?
Yep.
So when I watched the interview, it was kind of sad at the same time because it's like, dude, he gave so much to the game and he only got like half back, right? Because I know obviously that was his passion. That's the only thing he really loved. He didn't obviously it said in the interview a million times.
Yeah.
It's the only thing he really
I
loved.
want to play basketball. He said it. He said it again. I just want to play basketball.
I just want to hoop.
Yeah.
I just want to hoop. I just want to hoop. I just want to hoop. That's it. He ain't say nothing else, right? But the one thing that did stand out to me too is the same thing I say: having a good circle, having good people around you. Because the only thing else besides saying he loved basketball, he was just saying what kept him unhappy outside of basketball was the people that he kept around. Like he was saying, people stealing from him, and friends kind of half being there or whatever, family crossing him multiple times or whatever, right? And that's one of the things in sports too. Like you can't really take everybody with you.
Yeah.
Like I feel as though you should only take care of the people. You really don't have to take care of nobody because they wasn't putting in the hours you put in, right?
For sure.
But to some people, you do owe mom, dad. If they supported you on a climb, Because if you getting paid millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, don't matter what the dollar amount is, you don't have to go back and help these people, because if they do something wrong, then you feel bad because you're like, I helped this person my whole climb up, and all they did was just cross me, right? So the big thing, like I said, took from that interview was like just having good people around you.
Did you have to face that coming up in with your business? Did you have to face leaving people behind?
Heck yeah.
100%. How'd you do that? Because again, we're new to this.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we realize some people that we thought would be with us, they're with
no
us.
Longer there, yeah.
And I don't want to feel bad that I'm leaving some people behind, but how did you get through that?
You don't have to feel bad, but at a point you really got to realize, is this person's goals aligned with mine? And if they're not, I can't take them on the journey with me, right? But I'm also a believer in people don't have to have the same goals as you, but they have to want to work towards something. Because if they don't have nothing to work towards, all they're going to do is discourage you daily about why you can't
doing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people have these crazy fears, but instead of just scaring themselves, they rather put it in you. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I don't see myself ever playing professional basketball, or I don't ever see myself starting a business. Yep. So it's like, it's easier to tell you can't
put the limitations on you.
Right, because I don't got to talk crap about myself. I could just put everything on you and then discourage you. And now you're trying to figure out, why is it taking so long for me to get to the next stage? Yeah. So I did learn that just because people don't have the same goals don't mean you have to detach from them. But there is certain times and things you can't do with everybody. Okay. Because you can have friends, you could go out with, do fun stuff with, amusement parks, do anything fun, go to basketball games. But when it comes to locking in and getting things done, you got to know who can be around to get the job accomplished. Right? Okay. So, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because like my god brother, like, he been in my life, majority of my life, right? And we can sit down and talk for hours about like how many friends we had that just, dropped off. Yeah. And I think to a point too, sometimes like when you really focus or you really trying to work for something, you don't got to cut people off. They'll drop themselves off at a point.
They'll show themselves.
The weight going to shed off to a point, because they realize that. And if they're a really good friend too, so it also depends on what type of friend we're talking about. Some people realize that they got to take a step back for you to get to where you want to too. They'll realize I can't be here all the time because I'm weighing this person down. But then you got some people that will linger around for a long time, and then it'll set you back. Yeah, it'll set you back. So for me, I think I just got to be honest with the people I care about. Okay, it's just like, hey, like this is what I'm trying to do, to try and work towards. You don't have the same goals, but if you're going to be around, I just need you to do this just one thing. Because if you really my friend or family and love me and care about me, you don't have no problem doing something for free, because I would do the same thing for them. Yeah. I don't care what the goal is. You go sell CDs on the corner or whatever. I might be at the crib just putting the music on the CDs for you or whatever, so you can sell them. That sounds old as heck too, but that sounds old as heck. We burning
CDs, LimeWire.
But whatever it is, like, you might have a small role, and if you don't want to play that, then sometimes we just gotta separate at a point. Because other than that, you just holding me back.
That's good, man. Because shoot, bro. Like I said, I'm entering this new phase in my life now. I'm approaching 30, and a lot of my decision making and what I think about doesn't match with a lot of my old school family members. And it was weird in the beginning. It's not weird to me now because I understand exactly what you just said. I just kind of, again, I felt bad. But it's like, because they threw their limitations on me, what they would have done, or like you used the word fear. I love hearing when people bring up fear, because to me, fear isn't real.
No, it's not.
Right?
It's only what you make up in your mind.
So I have a lot of people that were fearful of taking that leap of faith, walking out on that bridge where you do not see a step, but and you're confident that I'm going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I started to realize like that everybody can't go with me. And I understand that. And being young, hearing rappers say it, I didn't understand. Right. Because rappers, athletes, they be like, man, everybody can't go with you, or so-and-so said I switched up, but I didn't switch up. It's mentally we on two different playing fields. You can't do it. But I used to feel bad when I look back and be like, dang, this person not here, or this person showed me who they were. Right. So you saying that helped me realize that I can't feel bad for that.
Yeah, you definitely can't. Because then you're going to be in resentment for real, bro. Because I think then you start to resent the people because you're like, all right, I kept this person around for too long, and now I hate them, or I have resentment towards them because the things I wanted to do are taking way longer than I thought because I'm keeping these people around. But now when you shut them off a little bit, it's nothing wrong with going back. But they should still be. They can support you from a distance too. They don't always have to be with you already. Like I said, your close circle have to be people that's pushing towards similar things. They don't always have to be the same thing. Like you might want to do something different from me, but if I know you working hard, it might be something from your business or something that you're pushing towards that I could utilize too.
For
and
sure.
Maybe something from my circle that you could utilize
for
too.
sure.
But if you have nothing to work towards, it's like, what we doing?
It's certain. It's touching on what you said. It's certain attributes you have to have.
Yeah, it's certain.
So we don't have to have to be chasing the same thing. But to chase something or to have a goal, you have to have attributes to be determined to reach that goal. So we can relate on that part.
All day.
Everything else don't even have to match up. It's just,
You know, it's hard to match up with people with the same stuff. Like, you know what I mean? People on Earth, like,
yeah,
it's
for
not,
sure.
It's not likely you're going to meet people that had the same exact goal with you. But if we all working towards something, why can't I help you? Why can't you help me? It could be something simple, just posting my stuff.
For sure.
Once again, this is internet free. Most of the internet's free. Most of the internet's free, right? But utilizing social media, like we said, like ain't nothing for me to post your podcast on something or post your clothing line on something or just post anything you working towards. Like it's like 2 seconds to do that. You can screenshot something, boom, post it on your Instagram for free. But I feel like some people be so prideful because they're like, I don't want to push him closer to his goal because then it's pushing me away.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's once again, if you're working towards something, you can't really overthink those type of things because that stuff's gonna happen anyway.
I think too. Before we get to the last thing I want to bring up to you, I said this maybe a couple weeks ago on I do IG lives on Wednesdays. So y'all check that out every Wednesday from 8 to 9. IG live. We talk about real stuff. Stay woke with Deuce West is what it's called. But going back to what you said about how people say, "Dag, I don't want to push him towards this goal because it may distance me from that person." Right? I think this is what really happens, and people could disagree, but I think some people don't want to push you towards your goal because they're fearful of taking that step that you took, right? And what happens is fear turns into jealousy, jealousy turns into envy. So that's why you start to see people who be like, "Dang, bro, like this person was with me and now I see signs of them either hating or them throwing shade." And it's like, because they like, damn, I never had the courage or to try it, and they're doing it and they're succeeding. That's why I don't want to push you because then I have to look at you.
Yeah, I got because all right, like you were just saying, like you gonna keep pushing this person up. That means they further and further away from you. Now you in a different climate of people that this person's never gonna be in that type of room. You know what I'm saying?
Grab the mic, bro. My bad.
Yeah, my fault.
People need to hear that. People need to hear that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm saying, like you're saying, they gonna keep pushing you up. Now they putting you in a climate that they never gonna reach. They're putting you in rooms that they never gonna be able to enter, right? And like you just said, that turns into envy, and that's real dangerous.
That's real dangerous.
We've seen what that turns into, right?
Yep.
And it and worst case scenario could be really bad.
Yep.
When people will start getting envious or jealous or whatever the case may be. So like I said, when you surrounding yourself with people, just make sure that is everybody happy for everybody.
Yep.
I don't care if you making more money than me, and that's one thing I can take pride in too, because like I got the same friend circle for like the end of time, like
that's
maybe
dope.
10 plus years, almost 15 years, same friends or whatever, right? I can put them all on like probably two hands.
That's dope.
For the most part, most of us do similar businesses, anything online, internet marketing and stuff like that. But then the other half of them, like I said, my cousin, he's part of my circle. He's just he's a head coach and an athletic director. We have nothing in common when it comes to doing business.
Yeah.
But when he was head coach, that was the number one thing I was celebrating or whatever. It has nothing even tied to me. Like I ain't getting paid. I ain't earned $1 or whatever. I was just happy to see him doing something he loved, which is coaching and changing people's lives technically, because you coaching young men to be real men, right? So his accomplishment, I felt like I won a little bit too. And those are the type of people you got to have around you too. Because when stuff go bad, I must still be there too, regardless.
Pure joy is what that's called.
He wasn't a head coach overnight. Like people don't remember him being an assistant coach on a women's team first. You know what I mean? And doing small little gigs or whatever. He was also assistant coach at Westchester University before he got back to my school. So like he climbed the ladder, and I was there for the whole journey. I remember all those struggles. So it's like now seeing him there, I'm probably more happy than he was to get the job. You see what I'm saying? So those are the type of people you got to have around, though.
That's tough, man. That was actually, I didn't expect you to say that. And when you were talking, it made me realize that you can tell when somebody truly has pure joy for your success.
It's easy. Like you could tell when somebody
you could tell somebody really got pure joy for your success. And I think, again, our young podcasting career has started off with we not understanding that some people don't bring that to us that we maybe thought.
Right.
But it's okay. You know what I mean?
So one thing, like my Gigi said this, right? And it's funny because she was obviously just here visiting or whatever. And I know you were talking about like friends. We're still obviously in the topic of talking about dropping our friends. I don't need to talk about the company name. I don't want to drop their name. But it was one company we invested in that nobody thought was going to work out. Low key, I didn't even know it was going to work out crazy. I know it was going to work. If I put in the work, I just didn't know it was going to hit the ground so fast.
Okay.
Right? So at this time, we did start a company. And honestly, when I was doing it, I was doing speaking events and stuff like that. And the only two people I convinced to jump on board with me was my grandma, my Gigi, and my mom, right? My mom kind of believed in it, but she was, I'm going to just support it because you doing it. So I'm going to do it, right? So maybe like less than a year later, my grandma and my mom, they started profiting off this company that we invested in, right?
Okay.
So like you were just saying, some people won't believe in it because they don't see themselves doing it or they don't want you to hit it, right?
Yep.
So once they start seeing my grandma and my mom making money from it, then people was like, why you ain't tell me about it? I'm like, y'all was the first people I told. Like when I was having these events, y'all ain't never show up. Nobody, rooms was empty. So when things took off, now people start showing. That's when that's the easy way. That's the easy way to tell people fake happy or fake support your stuff. Because like, bro, why you wait until people start taking off that want to support it? So going back to what I said, my grandma said. I remember she told me. She said, it's rare that you make money with friends and family, but you always gonna make money with strangers. Right?
Say that one more time. Say that one more time so people can hear that.
It's rare. It's rare. It's possible though, because I do business with my friends and some of my family, right? But it's rare that you make money with your friends and family, but you always gonna make money with strangers. That's every company. Like I could go to Trader Joe's right now. Owner don't know me from a can of paint, but did he get paid off of me today? Sure did. I love Trader Joe's, by the way. But I love Trader Joe's, by the way.
Shout out Trader Joe's, man.
Shout out Trader Joe's. But they're making money off strangers. And I'm going to support it because I just appreciate the hospitality when I walk in. I love the items and the brand too, right? And the same thing with you. Like, I met you through a mutual friend. I met you through a mutual friend, Jay. Shout out to Jay. But same thing. Technically, you were a stranger.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, right? So when you came into my home, we were strangers. But before you left, we already built a good rapport. I was like, nah, like, I would rock with him. And
bro,
if he got something going on, I'm going to support it. And
man.
Now I'm here, right? So technically, you making money with a stranger. It just happens that the strangers don't stay strangers forever. But they started as a stranger and then became, whether it's a business partner or supporter. But that's where your bread and butter are going to be with strangers. And I feel as though it's mostly strangers you make money with because the strangers are looking for someone just like you too.
Absolutely.
It just takes us to just cross paths.
Bro, you preaching right now, bro, because we have this mindset of social media now where everything is followed based. How many followers this dude got? How many followers this girl got? Right? And I always say, and I always break it down like this. People have thousands of followers. Thousands, right? Some people have thousands of followers. And when you break down who really is with them and for them and who gives a damn about them, 10 to 15 people,
it
right?
Don't add up.
It don't add up.
Right.
So with our platform, we like, yo, man, we always shout out from the 7, man. Make sure y'all go follow, Stat got thousands of followers. I'll just reach 1,000 because I never was a big social media thing. Now I have to be because of this. And we only got like 295 followers on the page, right?
Right.
So I think of that in calculation. I say, dang, okay, well, I got all these friends and followers, and he got all these friends and followers, and half of our 295 is strangers that we don't even know.
We don't know, nope. And they're gonna be locked in for
locked in, and we appreciate, man. We appreciate everybody that support the podcast. I got some good tight friends that support the podcast as well. Shout out to all of them. But a lot of people that have our platform on their subscribed or either waiting to look at it is strangers. And that was an adjustment period for us because we never understood that would happen. Because I'm like, oh, minimum I'm gonna have 1,000 people on from the 7 Instagram page because I got 1,000 people that follow me.
Right.
And it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it definitely don't work like that. And I feel like people always people always try to transition followers, or I call them watchers, difference between watchers and followers,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
If you got followers, they're gonna follow you.
Yep.
Or whatever you're promoting,
okay.
right? So I think this happened not too long ago. It was like a girl that started like a t-shirt company or something. She was selling t-shirts to her Instagram bio or whatever. She got 1 million followers though, but she only sold like 100 t-shirts. I was like, that's a prime example where she has a lot of watchers, but she don't have followers. Because obviously the people that's watching her, they looking for whatever she normally promotes.
I got
but now
you.
she got something that she really trying to push that she probably cares about.
Yep.
Now she only got 100 people out of 1 million. That percentage is super low.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, even though she only sold 100 t-shirts, let's try to keep it positive, right? If those 100 people bought t-shirts from you for whatever reason they wanted to support you, keep them locked in. Focus on them.
Oh, for sure.
Because if those 100 people are subscribed to your stuff or consistent watchers, what you think they going to do when they watching it at home with their family, or they on a plane ride watching it, or they at the airport watching? They going to show somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So cater to the people that's locked in.
That's strong right there.
Because even though there's only 100 people, keep them 100 people happy.
That's strong right there.
Because now when you lose the 100, now you're back to zero.
Back to
You know
zero.
what I'm saying? So keep those people happy, because it's always, the number's always going to go up. But I feel like keep the people happy that's supporting you first, right? Because it's always going to multiply.
Yep.
Because if you're not keeping them happy, they're not going to go spread the word for you.
Absolutely.
That's, once again, free promotion,
Yep.
right? So it's really not about the watchers. It's about keeping your followers happy.
I
When I
got
say
you.
followers, I ain't talking about just your Instagram followers.
Yeah.
People that are supporting
Yep.
your businesses that want to follow you for whatever content that you're supplying.
That's tough, man. Last thing. I saved this for the last session, and then I get you out of here, man. Again, I appreciate you coming.
No problem, bro.
Real dude, man. I appreciate you for
No
real.
problem at
But
all.
the biggest debate that we have, not just on this podcast, but maybe I can say with our generation, because you're a father, bro.
Yeah,
like,
father, yeah, all day.
so
Seen him.
yeah, tough son. So when you have a kid, a lot of parents, especially in our generation, put their dreams, aspirations, passions to the side, right? And they use it as the excuse on why they can't do it. Because then what's the easiest thing I can go get? A job.
Yeah.
Right? Because I got to provide for my kid. Did you have any moment, right? I know you was way into your business by then, when your kid came, but was there any doubt in your mind that when you had a kid, I can't pursue my passion anymore as far as entrepreneurship? Was there any times where maybe the money wasn't coming in, or maybe the structure wasn't there? Like, tell the parents that put their passions to the side, if you had that moment, how did you get out of that part?
Yeah, so it's funny too, because when my son was first born, his mom wasn't obviously she wasn't working at the time.
Okay.
She just had a kid.
Yep.
I wasn't going to be letting her work, right? So, excuse me. I low key was thinking about getting a job for real.
Okay.
So, and this is also funny too, because no one ever heard this story before. So this is my first time telling this story,
All
right?
right, from the 7, share it, man.
So when my son was first born, I still obviously was running my business or whatever, but I felt like I needed a second income because his mom wasn't working, and it wasn't like to keep the lights on. I just wanted a second income because I just wanted another safety account where I'm still saving money on the side that I don't need, but I want it because she home doing it. And then it's also funny because I could work from anywhere, but mostly from home. So I'm an all-day daddy. Like, I'm changing diapers, going back working, feeding him or whatever, playing with him, watching cartoons, and I'm going back to working. But I wanted to kind of get out the house. So shout out to my friend Brandon. He has a consulting firm right over here, not too far from your building, actually. And they get hired by big companies to build new clientele. It's like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, stuff like that. But they do residential business, and I didn't notice at the time.
Okay.
So he wanted me to help do the marketing side of things, but I also wanted to kind of be in the trenches with the workers too, to see like what their daily life was.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I'm suiting up, going out, he was like, make sure you wear some sneakers to the office. Right? I'm always in sneakers and like coming. I was like, bro, I'm definitely coming in like ones or something, like, cause he's a big sneaker guy. So I'm coming in some ones. Of course, I'm gonna be comfortable. So he like, you gonna hang out with whatever her name was at the time. I think her name was Anna. Hang out with Anna for the first day. Cause I'm like, I want to see what they're doing so I could train them and make sure I'm doing what you want me to help out with, right? Bro, they don't put this in the description, but they do door-to-door sales.
Damn, okay.
So just imagine someone just knocking on your door, never met this person. Someone knocking on your door. They say they're from AT&T because technically don't work for AT&T. AT&T is their client, but they can wear AT&T stuff because they're getting hired by AT&T, right? Yep. And signing them up for internet or TV or something at their house, though, right? And I'm glad I'm saying this story too because this what made me turn up with my business, right?
Okay.
This what turned because I watch Les Brown a lot.
Yeah,
great
yeah, man.
Speaker, right? I know one thing he told me. He said he did door-to-door sales when he was a kid. Now, he was probably doing it in like the 60s. So I don't know how hard it was back then, but
it was very hard, especially for African American.
Yeah, African American trying to knock on somebody's random door.
Yep.
So I was in the field with these people and seeing like what they had to go through because you might get some nice people, you might get some angry people, you might just get some cool people that just was waiting for you to show up at their door. You know, with Gigapower and stuff, people were trying to get new internet.
Yeah, for sure.
Service, right. So me like hanging out with her for a whole day, I'm like, yo. This is really, really hard. But we signed up people for internet and TV that day, maybe a couple people, but it was a law of averages, right? It came down to numbers. We might have seen like 60 people that day, and she might have opened up 4 or 5 accounts.
Yeah.
But once again, she just focused on them 4 to 5 people, kept them happy because other numbers didn't really matter at that point.
Yep.
But the trials and tribulations she had to go through today, like I think it might have drizzled that day, and she was still walking door to door. She still opened the 4 or 5 accounts. So, like, when the day was over, I kind of, like, sat back and I went back to the office. I'm like, Brandon, I'm like, yo, this is what people really, like, this is what they're going to be doing every day as a job. Like, yeah, he was like, but it teach a lot of character. And going back to Les Brown, I remember he was saying he was doing door-to-door sales. He's like, bro, you don't know how many life lessons you learn going door-to-door sales. He was like, and then also, if you can do door-to-door sales, you can do
anything. Yeah.
If you can convince a complete stranger from the queue you meet them at their door to build a rapport, just hello, how you doing? I'm such and such from AT&T, and then feel welcome, and let alone let them in your house.
Home.
Like, bro, you know how like everything, body language, speech, how you carry yourself, your demeanor, all that stuff, and then let's not talk about the people you did sign. Let's talk about the mad people,
nose,
the angry people, and the nose, right? That was the other thing Les Brown said. Like, you know what I mean? Nose, I seen her.
1,000 no's equals to 1 yes.
Yes. So, like I said, she maybe seen 50, 60 houses. She's only signed up 5 or 6 accounts. But law of averages wise, that's technically good numbers. For her. You see what I'm saying? So that was like a crazy experience I had, and I helped out for a while too. And I just took it as like, bro, if I can do this, there's no reason I can't go back to my business and put like 100% in it. Because these people are doing no's every day. Yeah. So if something's not going right in my business that day, it's only one day. Yeah. I still got tomorrow. Yeah. Thank God I can see another day. Like, the journey not over. You know what I mean? So with that, I was seeing it like dealing with no's, weather, mad people. I'm like, bro, you really dealt with a lot of trials and tribulations, but as long as the day was still a success somewhat where you found someone that said yes, that's all that really mattered. Yeah. Because that's the stuff you deal with in life anyway. You're going to get told a million times. But are you willing to keep pushing until you get a yes or until you hit that one first goal that you really were shooting for after all the stuff that you had to go through in between? Yeah. So that was a crazy experience. And a lot of people don't know that. I was knocking on doors. Damn. It wasn't long, but I wanted to see what was going on. Because I was like, how can I even tell somebody?
So that made you go harder with your business.
I went right back home.
And that's when you didn't get the job. You said, I'm not doing it.
I told, at that time, was my girlfriend, my son's mother. I told her, I ain't doing that. I was like, I'd rather stay home with y'all and spend time with my son. But I was like you said, the main topic you were saying, why parents can't make no excuse. Yeah. I was like, it was just a decision I had to make.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't, I couldn't do it. It was just like, I got to tell myself I can
so that's the key word there. Decision. It's the decision that you make.
It was a decision. Because after that, once I made the decision, I had no choice but to go start working and go hard. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing I hate too, when people be like, oh, you had a kid. Did you stop traveling or did you slow down anything? I said, if anything, I sped up. Because if I'm slowing down, that's hurting his process now. Even when it comes to traveling or whatever, most people see me at the Charlotte airport all the time. At this point, they know my son's name, first name basis. You see what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm like, if I go on a trip, why can't I take him? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or why can't I start a business just 'cause I have a son? If I'm going to start a business, he about to go with me.
That's like, tough, man.
Even when I was building at the time, like I said, he was a baby or he might have been 1 at that time. I would go to meetings. Before I go to meetings, I tell the people like, hey, do you mind me bringing my son? Because we can't have this meeting if I can't bring him with you. Because he's with me most of the day. You see what I'm saying?
That's tough.
Or we got to do business another time.
Yeah.
So it's really no excuse that you have a kid. It's just make him a part of it.
Yeah.
Why not make him part? Like, even though I go home now, like, even when you came over, whatever.
Yeah.
My son, he be on the computer now.
Yeah.
I'm like, he just turned 5. I'm like, yo, just imagine if he learned how to do digital art at 7 or 8 years old.
And shoot, you was gonna bring him over here, man. I told you, bring him.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna bring him, but thank God my mom in town. So you know,
next time bring him, man. Tough son.
They watching him at the house, but I'm like, why can't you include your children?
Yeah.
You don't have to put your dreams or that business you always wanted to start on hold. Just make them a part of it, because then you have no reason. Nothing's holding you back. And especially, obviously, age has a difference. If they're a baby, obviously, but you know, once they start walking, why not start letting them help out?
Yeah.
Even if we gotta decorate the room, let them act like they painting or something, just so they're a part of it, because they're not gonna be crying because now they're invested in the business too. So now my son sees me do art all day. So what you think he want to do?
That's
tough. Drawing and painting all day.
Yeah.
Besides basketball, obviously, he in the house painting every day. He want to paint every day. He want to draw. And if he don't want to play basketball, I don't care, because he might have a passion for art. I'm gonna push whatever one. But when you came down to parents making excuses for having children and not chasing their dreams, just make your kids a part of your dream.
Yeah, man. Yo, listen. This man dropped so many gems. He taught me a lot of stuff today. I ain't even gonna hold, bro. Like the coding stuff, I didn't think about that. Like we were coding back then. Like, bro, I'm telling you, all the stuff you said about the page, I was doing that. I had the crazy effects, everything that you said on MySpace was true, bro. And I never understood that was a craft that we had to learn. But again, bro, I appreciate you coming, man.
Appreciate having me, man.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. Legendary_Rob. You can go to my business page with all our designs, my team's portfolio on Beyond Graphics Media. Graphics is spelled GRFX. I know people spell graphics weird, but it's Beyond Graphics Media, GRFX Media. So that's the 2 Instagrams you catch me. I don't really have that many social medias, which is funny. I kind of stay on Instagram right now, but maybe I'll tap into some more. Maybe my son will get me into some soon. So
yeah, man. Well, definitely make sure y'all follow his pages. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, share to 50 people, man. Y'all got a lot of information today. A lot. Like I said, this man taught me a lot today. So stay tuned to next week for next week's episode. Again, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Check us out. Rob, again, bro, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that, bro.
Sir. See y'all next time, man.
All right.
Working on a weekend like usual. Way off in the deep end like usual. Niggas swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes.